Draft expert Mel Kiper has updated his big board, the top 25 players in the 2026 NFL Draft. And Cleveland fans, we're going to be looking at potentially a top 5, top 3, top 2 pick here for the Cleveland Browns. So we got to start analyzing some of these top prospects, and that's what today's show is all about. I'm your host, Joey O'Donohue, and make sure you hit that sub button so you don't miss a piece of Cleveland Browns news, who they're looking at, who they draft. I got you covered with anything. Hit that subscribe button. Join the over 66,000 people. I mean, you guys are awesome. It's the Brown Support family. Join the party today. Hit that sub button. I got daily free content for you every single day. Without further ado, let's get into Mel Kiper's big board. Who is the number 1 player in the draft? He thinks it's Dante Moore, the Oregon quarterback, ladies and gentlemen. And then number 2, he's got another quarterback as the second best player in the draft, and that is the Indiana prospect, Fernando Mendoza. So Kiper, pretty high on quarterbacks this year. Okay, these are the 2 best players in the draft, according to Mel. Let's talk a little bit about both of them. First up is Dante Moore, who, I don't know if many people know this, he's actually from East Cleveland. And that's where he grew up. And he is a bigger quarterback, too, 6'3", 206 pounds. This is his first season as a starting QB. He's actually on the roster with Dylan Gabriel. So that kind of worries me a little bit. But he's balling out a lot more, right? His stats in 2025 looking pretty good. And then Mendoza, an even bigger quarterback, 6'5", not super mobile. I really would compare him to Kirk Cousins. Not only the energy in post-game interviews, but also just the play style. He's a little bit more mobile than Kirk, but that's what I am seeing from Mendoza, who is the Heisman Trophy winner and having quite the season over there at Indiana, who is, we'll see if they make quite the CFP playoff run here going forward. They won the conference championship game against our Ohio State Buckeyes. But I was doing some research, and when you compare Mendoza to Shedeur Sanders in their final seasons in college, well, Shedeur actually had the better stats entering the NFL draft, right? Mel Kiper had Shedeur top 5 on his big board going into the NFL draft, and he couldn't believe how far Sanders had slid. But if you just compare the numbers side by side here, well, Shedeur might have actually had better stats when you look at all categories combined. And let's throw Dante Moore into this as well. Let's compare all 3 of their most recent college football years here. And completion percentage, relatively similar, and Shedeur led the FBS in completion percentage in 2024 and obviously crushes both the quarterbacks in yards. I mean, it's different conferences. He's got more passing touchdowns as well, but when you just look at the numbers coming into the NFL draft, this is how it stacks up. And what I would tell you, Browns fans, if you believe in Mendoza, if you believe in Moore, that they are franchise quarterbacks, all right, you got me. You don't pass up on a franchise quarterback. But if you can't say that with absolute certainty, I'll tell you what, the Cleveland Browns have way more needs that they need to address. So you tell me in the comments section. Should the Browns draft a quarterback? Give me a Y for yes. Give me an N for no. According to Mel Kiper, those are the 2 best players in this draft. Players. Should you pass them up? You let me know in that comment section down below, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's get into the rest of Kiper's big board. Who else is going to go pretty high? Well, number 3 is Jeremiyah Love, Notre Dame running back. I think Judkin's injury is not going to be super, super serious. Obviously, we'll put him out for months, but we got the whole offseason for him to recover. I don't think we need to look at a top running back prospect just yet. Arvell Reese, another Ohio State guy. Man, he has moved all the way up to number 4 on Kiper's big board. It's a hard player to pass up, but not a position of need for Cleveland. We'll talk about what you think Cleveland should do there. The number 1 offensive lineman in this draft class, according to Mel Kiper, it's the Miami tackle, Francis Mauigoa. I think he's worth taking a look at, Browns fans, okay? As I said, he's the number 1 offensive lineman on his board. And due to positional need for a lot of teams this year, I think tackles are going to go pretty early. I'm hearing it's not the best O-line class, though, so be a little bit wary. But to my point, a guy like Mauigoa might end up going top 5, certainly top 10, just because of the need, and he's best available at that position. I wouldn't mind if Cleveland looks his way. Number 6, very strong-looking edge, David Bailey has been absolutely balling. And I know Cleveland loves to load up on D-line, but We just do not need edge rushers, ladies and gentlemen. We've got the best player in football. The first wide receiver on Mel Kiper's board is Jordyn Tyson. How about that? Out of ASU. And Kiper had some positive things to say about Jordyn Tyson and what he likes about his game. Why is Tyson the number one receiver on Kiper's big board? Well, Mel will tell you that he's been absolutely balling the Colorado transfer. Has lit up defenses for 2 seasons with the Sun Devils. Tyson's superpower is being open even when it looks like he's completely blanketed. It makes him essentially uncoverable in the red zone. He wins on 50-50 balls and outmuscles defensive backs. A hamstring injury cost him time this season, but he still posted solid numbers. The part of that I love is the 50-50 balls, that you can literally just throw it up to him, and he's a safe, big target. Cleveland needs a guy like that, man. We just do. Judy's supposed to be the number one. He doesn't have that same ability. You give me a guy like Tyson, you're telling me, fade route, I could just throw it up to him. He could streak, and I could hit him in stride. Oh, it's beautiful for a young quarterback that Cleveland's trying to develop here, ladies and gentlemen. It's kind of getting me excited. Will Tyson be worth that top 5 pick? But he's not the only wide receiver that is on Kiper's big board. Let's go through the rest of this list here. He's got Kenyon Sadiq at number 8, tight end out of Oregon. We already got Harold Fannin, though, but thank you very much, Mel. And then it's the Ohio State Buckeye, Carnell Tate. I bet a lot of people were waiting for this one. Where was he going to come? He comes in the top 10 of players available here. Number 9, according to Mel Kiper, is Carnell Tate. And what's the difference between Tate and Tyson? Well, here's what Kiper has to say about Carnell. Tate is putting up some serious numbers and showing why he is a top prospect for this class. Tate has produced big plays on a regular basis, averaging 17.5 yards per catch this season. He is a precise route runner, has great hands, and displays outstanding body control. And he'll also happily block for ball carriers, which NFL coaches love to see. Ah, man, I love both of these prospects, man. You can only get one that early. But let me say this about Ohio State, okay? You look at offensive rookies of the years, defensive rookies of the years, overall rookies of the years. Look how many Ohio State Buckeyes have won it in the last decade. Joey Bosa, also Ezekiel Elliott that year in 2016, may I add. Marshawn Lattimore, Nick Bosa, Chase Young, Garrett Wilson, C.J. Stroud. And this year, probably going to be Igbuka over in Tampa Bay, or maybe even Travion Henderson. But look at all the Buckeyes on that list. I'm just saying, ladies and gentlemen, it's kind of wide receiver university lately. And so Carnell Tate being available, I mean, that's pretty enticing to me here. I will not lie to you guys. I really won't. And then there's another wide receiver that comes right after Carnell Tate on Kiper's big board, and that is the USC product, Makai Lemon at number 10. So 3 wide receivers in Kiper's top 10, ladies and gentlemen. If Cleveland did want to use their early pick to get one, we got options. And you tell me in the comments section, who is your favorite of the 3? If Jordyn Tyson's the one you like most, type JT. If you love the Buckeye Carnell Tate, type CT in the comments section. And finally, if you like Makai Lemon, smaller product, well, 5'11", but he's fast. Coming out of USC, type ML if you're in on Lemon. You let me know in the comments section. But remember, it would take probably a very early pick in the first round to get one of these 2. Lemon, you could maybe get in the teens. Number 11 on Kiper's big board. Another Buckeye, Brownies. It's Caleb Downs. Look, he's a safety, and normally safeties don't go too high. But when you got a product like Caleb Downs, it's hard to pass up on him, man. And you're just looking at top players in the draft. Downs has been having an incredible season in 2025. I can't lie to you, ladies and gentlemen. Coverage grade, tackle grade. He does everything you want in a safety, folks. Gets interceptions, makes one-on-one tackles. Man, it's such a good prospect. But I don't know if Cleveland can afford to use such a high pick on Downs when we just have glaring needs at other positions. You comment your thoughts on that down below. Sonny Styles. That's a cool name. Another Ohio State product, the linebacker coming in at number 12. And then at 13, it's Jeremiah McCoy, the Tennessee corner. I'll tell you what, Cleveland does need a cornerback, and McCoy is the best one in this draft. But that's going to take too early of a pick, I think, for Cleveland. We got to get linemen and receivers in this first round. And Spencer Fano comes in at 14. The Utah tackle next up on Kiper's list. Look out for him as a product. Like I said, maybe Talent-wise, this year's OL draft class isn't incredible, but Fano's going to end up going pretty high too because of the need, and he's the second best lineman in this draft according to Kiper. So do you trade down to be able to get a lineman? Right? Like, do you trade your top 5 pick and get someone like Fano or another lineman that I'm going to show you here on Kiper's board? Do you make that move, get a little bit more draft capital, and address your positions at need? Something to consider for the Cleveland Browns as well as we enter draft season. And something for you guys to consider is this awesome deal we got going on at Chat Sports here. It is the holiday season, ladies and gentlemen, and we got this chatsports.com Browns tee that was $40. It's now $16. I'm not kidding you. If you go to chatsports.com/Browns tee, this is a perfect holiday gift for a fellow Browns fan, a family member, or for yourself. Treat yourself. It's over 60% off. $16 for a t-shirt. Be a great gift. It's something I'd rock myself. I'm going to put this link in the comment section and description, and it's easy to remember. Chatsports.com/Browns tee. Go and get yourself one or one of your friends or loved ones this holiday season. Coming in at 15, Mel Kiper has Caden McDonald. Boy, the Buckeyes are taking over this draft class, ladies and gentlemen. He's another defensive lineman, but I don't think Cleveland will be looking his way. Let's get into the next half of the list, and that is Kendrick Falk coming in at 16, another edge out of the University of Auburn. And now let's get to another lineman, ladies and gentlemen. I know you've been waiting on it, Browns fans, okay? The Penn State guard. Listen, I got the pronunciation guide up here for you, okay? It's Oliva Venga Yawane. But we can all just call him Vega from here on out. But that is how you say it. I've got the exact pronouncer. And he's another stud coming in at 17 on Kiper's big board. And you know what? I'll tell you something. Cleveland's going to need guards too, ladies and gentlemen. Teller, Batonio on contract years. I'd consider looking his way later in the first round if you do go big-name wide receiver like Tate or Tyson early. Next up, Peter Woods. I think he's an absolute stud. He's a defensive tackle out of Clemson here at 18. But Cleveland likely not going to look his way. I could see a team trading up to get Woods, though, in this first round. Ruben Bain has moved down to 19, according to Mel Kiper here, the edge out of Miami. Some people had him going first overall in mock drafts. Not sure that's going to be the case anymore. We'll see who gets that number 1 pick. Amari Washington, another Oregon product coming in here at number 24. Mel Kiper, another defensive lineman. Take a look at him. Akeem Mesidor, an edge out of Miami at 21. A couple edges coming in for Kiper now, and another Miami product on that board. Here's a wide receiver for you, Browns fans, Zachariah Branch. Kind of reminds me of Zay Flowers a little bit out of the University of Georgia. Number 22 on Kiper's big board here. We'll start to round out this list with a corner that Cleveland might want to take a look at out of LSU, Mansour Delane. I'll tell you what, if he's available second round, now I might be taking a look this way because I do think Cleveland needs to draft at least one corner here. I mean, you see what happens when Denzel Ward is hurt. We are so thin at that position, and we're getting torched by wide receivers. And Denzel Ward, well, it seems like he's gotten hurt at least once every year. So I'd keep an eye on these corners that I'm telling you about as well, Browns fans. Denzel Boston. Here's a wide receiver I want to talk about a little bit. Out of Washington is another bigger wide receiver, and he just made it onto Kiper's big board here. I think a decent amount of wide receivers are going to go in the first round this year. Boston's one that could be available late. If we're really lucky, early second, but I don't think he falls out of the first round. But that pick that we got from Jacksonville, it's going to be in the 20s maybe. Well, you're talking about a guy that's 6'4", 210 pounds, a redshirt junior. Caught 11 touchdowns this year for Washington, 881 yards, 62 catches. But another big wide receiver is someone that I think Cleveland needs in that room. We've got Bond, the speedster. Give me a big target like Tyson or Boston or even Tate, who can do it all, to throw it up to sometimes, all right? Pair them with Fannin. I mean, now you got some targets for a quarterback. That would help us out a lot. And so if you like the idea of going tackle early, like Maui Noah, top 5, maybe you get your wide receiver later. That's kind of the direction I'm leaning towards, ladies and gentlemen. I think you got to build around the quarterback. Get Shedeur another year. If it doesn't improve behind a good O-line with more targets, now you don't need to draft a quarterback. If it does, well, hallelujah. You've got your guy, and you've built at the right positions. So that's where I'm leaning towards, Browns fans. And so I'd give a look at Denzel Boston here late. Finally, at number 25 on Kiper's big board, it's Kelly Jones, another corner to take a look at for Cleveland. Like I said, I want to draft at least one. And so if Kelly Jones is one that's a top 25 player and he ends up falling into the second round, well, sign me up, Browns fans. But you be the GM for me. What position group should the Browns draft first? I'm talking what should be the first position group we take with our very first pick in the draft, whether that's the number 1 pick, the 4th pick, the 3rd pick, whatever. Whatever our first pick is, which direction do we go? OL, wide receiver, quarterback, or cornerback? You tell me in the comment section. Put 2 letters down below and let me know. Or if there's another one you think, you can let me know that too. And also tell me, while you're down in that comment section, who would be your dream draft target for the Cleveland Browns? You could have any player fall to Cleveland. Tell me who that would be. The number 1 player you're on your little wish list here. You're like, oh man, if Cleveland could get this, you're telling Santa I want it number 1 on my wish list this year. Who's the number 1 draft target you want Cleveland to get? Comment a name down below. I want to see who the Browns fans are looking forward to the most. And that'll do it for today's show. Hit that subscribe button if you want some more draft coverage. See who Cleveland could be taking a look at. Who could change this franchise. Draft year's coming up, ladies and gentlemen. And to be honest, we drafted a ton of studs in the 2025 class, but we didn't address 2 position of need. So this year, I have a feeling it's going to be all about that. The Browns are listening to the fans' cries. Hit that sub button. I'll keep you posted if they actually do in the near future.